From surviving to thriving. As you heard me say in the video, that's our goal with the Hope Houses. But how do we get there? That's what I'm here to talk about today. My name is Chuck Metellus, Director of Programs for the Hope Houses in Florida. Before that, I was a house parent at one of our very first Hope Houses in Florida. I want to talk to you today about what it takes for a young person in foster care, not just to survive, but to thrive. To survive means to remain alive, usually from something negative. To thrive means to grow and develop. Jana, who you just saw in the video, for example, she's been in foster care most of her life. For youth like Jana, becoming an adult with a job, stable housing, and meaningful relationship is a huge challenge because the odds are stacked against them. Many of our youth bounce around from foster home to group home, placement to placement, often for simply putting their traumas on display. They grow up feeling unloved, unwanted, and misunderstood. And far too often, they end up in the juvenile justice system. Here's a staggering truth. A child in foster care who experiences 5 or more placement has a 90% risk of being involved in the criminal justice system. There's a name for this pattern. It's called the foster care to prison pipeline. We are here to disrupt that. That's where Hope Houses come in. We created Hope Houses with one simple but aggressive concept and approach, and that is unconditional care. At a traditional foster or group home, a youth might get kicked out for simply putting their traumas on display. But at Hope House, we call that the honeymoon phase. I was on the ground floor with Sarah, our Chief Program Officer, Josie, our Executive Director, and I said to them, they don't like to be called foster kids. They are just kids. We are not calling ourselves a foster home. We are not calling ourselves a group home. We are simply a family home. Why? Because words matter. We should prioritize their existence and their identity instead of their placement situation. If a youth punch a hole in my wall, drop the F-bomb, test boundaries, that's not a discharge. It's an opportunity to be an ally and accountability partner. We give them choices, compromises, and opportunities to learn how to take accountability. Because at Hope House, we meet the trauma with unconditional care. That is, providing a healthy balance between nurture, structure, and normalcy. We are allies and accountability partners. That means we love them enough to show up on their hardest days and hold them accountable when it counts. Let's take Melvin, 17 years old, who punched a hole in my wall after arguing with his girlfriend. My first response, I gave him an ice pack. And then I said, let's go to McDonald's for some McFlurries because you need to cool down, Melvin. On the way, we talked about his family, his relationship, and his anger. Not once did I mention the hole in my wall. That's coming later. On the way back, he apologized and said, Mr. Chuck, I'm sorry for putting a hole in your wall. I said, that's okay, Melvin, because we're going to Home Depot. He said, for what? I said, I'm going to teach you how to patch a wall. We patched it together. He was so proud that he videotaped it and posted it on Instagram for his friends to see. He gave me a strong handshake, and I looked at him in the eye and said, guess what, Melvin? I got another life skill to teach you. He said, for what? I said, you're grounded. And just like that, he learned the power of accountability. Melvin took accountability and requested a compromise. Melvin looked at me and said, Mr. Chuck, When I first came to your home, you told me you will always give me choices and compromises, right? I responded and said, right? Looking at Melvin with a serious face because I have to hold him accountable, but also smiling in my head with joy because he recognized he had a voice and he used it. And number two, the fact that he had the courage to hold me accountable. And three, the fact that I realized I need to go train my staff on reversed accountability. Melvin washed the car, did some extra chores around the house, and we agreed on 2 grounded days instead of 5. That is what unconditional care and learning looks like at Hope House. I can tell you many more stories like Bree. She came to us 16 years old with 16 prior placements. She came to us angry, aggressive, and mad at the world. She would call me and yell for 30 minutes straight. I would just mute the phone and let her yell. Because Bree didn't need to be punished for yelling. She needed love, therapy, and a safe space to unpack. Bree needed to know that someone was listening. Eventually, she got her driver's license, got a job at Wendy's, and she aged out successfully. And like so many Hope House alumni, we are still in touch. Or I can tell you about Jack, nicknamed Jack Reacher, because he was always on the run. I mean, disappearing off the face of the earth for months at a time. No one can find Jack unless he wanted to be found, but not with us. Jack stayed home every night. Jack got his driver's license and started working at a restaurant downtown. When our leadership team from Chicago came down for a summit, we went to Jack's restaurant. Jack made it a point to cook everyone's food. He made my steak just the way I like it. Then he came out to the table in his apron and talked to us. It was amazing to see him. It was amazing to see him doing so well and so happy to serve us like we served him. And when I got back to my car that night, I teared up. And I said, this is what Hope House is about. We may not save every youth, but if we can change the trajectory of many, then it's worth everything. That's where you guys come in. Your support, your donations will make stories like Jana's, Bree's, Melvin's, and Jack's possible. Hope Houses, we are not an institutional program. We are functional homes. We are family. We are disrupting systems and moving towards normalcy. And we cannot do this work without you. So, I invite you to join us to be an ally, be part of this movement, and be part of their stories. Let's take our kids from surviving to thriving. Thank you.